This is good. This is fine. We're good, right?
Also, former manager for Barchester United, Sir L.S. Ferguson. Welcome to the stream, man. That's a football reference, but a lot of people in chat will enjoy that one for sure. Well, the rules of the podcast, just to introduce everyone to this new concept, is obviously I brought these two very abrasive individuals, these two American work shy, just you know the words I want to use, but you guys you like to use flame a lot in your rhetoric. So we've designed a system in which for every time you guys use extensive swear words or negativity about League of Legends in the West in general, FlyQuest will be planting a tree, and I personally, as the host, will be tracking that. But generally speaking, this is a show that's been set up to kind of recap some of the games, get you guys together and talk over some of the stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks. We were obviously intending to go live a few days ago, but we've missed that. So there's a few things that we haven't gone over quite just yet. Just 1 second. One of the main things I wanted to talk about, obviously, we'll go to you straight away, LS, is you've been in the news recently. You've gotten shouted out on the broadcast a lot. I've obviously joked that it's not actually your build; it's the Unforgiven Reptile build. But you've popped up again with your Nostradamus theory on this Kai'Sa build, and it's been picked a few times. So talk me through that. Well, yeah. Apparently people can't hear you.
Yeah, he just said his build's the best. And you should
Yeah,
always
he's basically just like what he said.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. And let me translate that, yeah.
What he basically said, if we're going to get it straight from the source verbatim, is that he thinks Ginsu's Eclipse is actually in some ways superior.
Yes. Correct, actually, yes.
He just, like, his thing is because he's gay, he needs to be quirky and stand out, and he wants to, like, pick just random items. That's his theory behind this new Muramana Ludens build. Thank you for that one, Ellis. That was really good to speak to you about that. In terms of some other stuff, I mean, I don't know if I want to go to you, Spica, not just because I value your input, but because you might be the only other person we can hear right now. We obviously seen a few champions been picked back up into the meta recently. I mean, the big one that everyone's memeing at the moment is the Sivir coming back, despite only a 4 AD buff. What were some of your thoughts on this? It's quite weird to see this all of a sudden, right?
I mean, honestly, I just feel like, at least my thought on the overall LCS drafting, I feel like a lot of teams are just clueless at drafting, you know? I feel like in the meta right now, people are just not really playing great champs, honestly. Like the Sivir, obviously, I thought was like really, really weird. The 4 armor doesn't really change how bad she is fundamentally as a champion, right? It doesn't really feel like she's able to damage in the meta. Like playing against Senna, Smolder, it's like...
What do you think? Really it's always good to give people credit in some way and get to the real root of it. What do you think, if you were to give a good faith interpretation, why are people picking Sivir?
I mean, if I say it, we're gonna have to plant a tree, you know? Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Well, maybe they're smurfing in scrims or something, but I just feel like it's dog shit. I think it's dog shit.
Oh,
I think it's dog shit.
It's dog shit.
I think it's dog shit. I think it's horrible. I don't know.
That's one tree. What kind of tree do you want it to be? Like a lemon tree? Are we thinking here? Like cherries? Like what are we thinking, buddy? Because
wait, they plant lemon trees? I thought they just plant like normal trees. You know, like.
Are you just discovering?
Like just trees.
Are you discovering there's different types of trees now?
No, but you know how like there's trees that doesn't grow fruit, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, no, that is.
That's the thing, right? Like whatever tree they got,
they not.
You know.
It's not a build a tree workshop, mate. Like we'll take what we.
No, you asked me what tree I want. I'm just like, I don't know. It's just a tree, like a normal looking tree.
You know what the thing is? We thought that maybe there'd be stylistically a difference between you and LS, but I can see you get tied up in theory in the same autistic way that he does. So it's completely fair.
Okay, that's 2 trees. That is 2 trees.
Yeah, that was complete. There's nothing BM about that. I'm just being consciously aware of neurodivergency.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you asked me about my opinion. You know, I'm just being truthful.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you. But you talked about there as a central thing that you feel like the LCS can't draft. that's obviously a slight bit of negativity there. But to spin it in a positive way.
I mean, it's like negativity where it's like, is that the truth? You know, it's like people are okay. Like one thing that I was very vocal about, okay, is Team Liquid's drafting, and they've gotten better. All right, but some of the drafts are just not good, to say the least. If I put it that way.
And obviously, you're a figure that I feel like was kind of seen as, you're a TSM star jungler. You then went to FlyQuest. You've kind of been a little bit absent from the league. Working on your numbers in the gym, on the bench, obviously.
Of course.
Do you feel like the LCS is missing a strong voice in draft and creative voice with you not being in the league?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just they just don't know what to draft without me. I feel like teams know. I mean, it's hard to tell draft dynamics. If you're not in the room, if you're not watching scrims and stuff. So I don't want to be like, okay, my idea is right no matter what, and whatever you guys draft just sucks, right? But I feel like some champions are just obviously OP, and like people are not playing them or not prioritizing them.
What kind of champions are you talking about there in particular? Like
I mean, I think Senna is like one of the most broken champions for a long time, but people are just figuring that out. I think champs like Talia is like very, very strong. It just counters a lot of the comps that people are like drafting as well. That is not super prioed. That's the two up on top of my head. Like Ivern, for example, I think Ivern has been like the best jungler since like for a long time, honestly, even last year, especially this year. And people are not really playing him. But like those are the one on the top of my head.
You got to be careful there because you can see LS he's clicking his heels all the way back to Kansas.
I mean that one I feel like I gotta agree with LS here. Like Ivern is busted. Ivern is busted.
LS,
you guys can't hear him, but he's agreeing with me.
Has he been released? I mean, it's quite fitting. I feel like that LS has been muted because in many ways, recent drafting in LCS has been like a science fiction novel. He has a mouth and he cannot scream. It feels like the Cassandra-like words. It just it's completely.
I don't even know if he agrees with me. I think the Ivern point he will agree with me, but I don't even know if he'll agree with me on the other point. So I'm just gonna assume.
Senna
is agreement.
Yeah, Senna is really, really, really good. Senna is absolutely good. Ivern, obviously, I completely agree with. Talia, Talia's weird because everyone kind of is picking her, right? She showed up today multiple times, right? Yeah. So, like, I can agree that Talia's good against a lot of the champions that are being picked, but I don't think that's necessarily just inherently Talia's power. Like, as a champion, I think it more has to do with people just draft bad.
I think that's the point. It's like as a counter pick, I feel like Talia is like S tier, but people are not picking, in response to that. I think you're talking about just general power strength. I think like
they're just blind.
Wait. I think that's
I'm
like
sorry
very
to interject here, boys, but if we could just move the language to a place that isn't that they draft bad, it's like less than optimal, perhaps. I think that's I don't believe in propaganda or anything, but it's just just so that we make sure that we keep negativity out of Western League of Legends because LS has done so much to contribute to that already. And this show is really about just untangling that problem. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, so in terms of the games that we watched today, because we're obviously talking about games over 2 days here. We talked about the LS AP Kaiser build being picked in that 100 Ts IMT game. I think that Fly NRG game today, very much just like every Ocean's 11 film that's ever been made. It was very much a heist. I know when we were watching that earlier, LS, we were just kind of just absolutely baffled that despite what you viewed as a massive draft disadvantage and what FlyQuest continues to have, we talked about this on stream that you think that they've won barely 50%. They have a sub 50% draft win rate.
They have a sub 50% now. Yeah. Which I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, like, I mean, you can kind of go off on any tangent you want, but you talked about how getting off to a raring start within the games has been difficult from the drafting phase, but they seem to just be picking out wins out of sort of nowhere, and I don't know what you attribute that to. In a positive light.
Well, I mean, FlyQuest does have some of the best players in the league, right? Even when situations can be bad or drafts can be lost, etc., I mean, you're still going to be able to win in a lot of cases. So, I mean, I think there's that. I do think they got away with murder today in the game versus NRG, which is like very lucky. But I think the point that you're asking me about is it's like what I said on stream yesterday, and I said elsewhere, right, on social media, that it's honestly almost impressive that so FlyQuest has 3-4 of maybe some of the 3 or 4 of the players with the deepest champion pools in the entire league, and yet they have a sub 50% like draft edge, which is impressive, like because that means that you have to intentionally be drafting that bad. Like I don't know how that's possible in LCS when teams are like first picking Nautilus for fun. They're like blinding Lee Sin for fun because they saw G2 do it. Like I don't know.
It was funny to
something
see Yike. It was funny to see Yike play Lee Sin today and just put on a Chinese TikTok montage, despite the fact the enemy team literally had Talia and Poppy, and he's just ward hopping like fucking just into the enemy team, 5 of them.
Yeah.
Spica, in terms of like what LS has just said there, I mean, he's obviously talked about how he feels as if there's like less than 50% of the time they're getting advantageous positions, which I think he views in the context of the tools that they have available as being kind of a bit of a travesty. Is there anything you want to chime in on regards to that? Like, I don't know if you've been looking at the FlyQuest drafts.
From the top of my head, they've actually had a lot of like unwinnable drafts. I think yesterday against TL, that draft is like pretty unwinnable. I think today's draft, I like the Talia Poppy. I think Talia Poppy is like really, really good, but then they have Renekton and Kalista Renata. I think outside of Talia Poppy, like absolutely runs NRG's comp, but then they have Kalista and Dusenna, which is like very, very hard to play. You almost need to be up like a lot of gold for it to even be like useful. And I think they had like some other very bad comps. I remember against another team. I think they're playing like Maokai's Karma. I think maybe against C9. And they managed to lose against Nidali, which is like crazy. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with LS. Like they've had so many unwinnable drafts, but they were a lot of times they're in good game states with those drafts that's bad, right? So I think if they actually draft well, they would look so much better.
And what are you attributing that to? Do you think it's just a lack of priority on the right champions, bad meta read? Is it like it feels like what you're saying there is there's a lot of like off-theme decisions being made?
I mean, I have no idea. You know, I'm not in the coach room. I mean, just first week Kalista when Senna, I think Smolder was up as well. That's just crazy to me. I'm not sure what's happening in there. We need Papa Smithy on this.
Yeah, well, you know, it's always important to, you know, like Eric Idle said, look on the bright side of life. I wanted to go back into the Kai'Sa build, LS we talked about. We've actually got a video here on some of the Kai'Sa highlights in that 100 Thieves game versus IMT. I don't know if we can play that on stream. Be able to.
Okay. All right.
High level production.
High level production. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this was where they.
Oh,
they
I saw
griefed,
this.
Right? Yeah, this is where Isla griefed moments prior, but then Meech follows up and yeah.
This was the exact moment where you got like another opinion granted to you. Like it was looking very bad for you here, and it was going to be just another few months of like.
Oh, just like that. Yeah.
No one playing this build, but like he saved your entire career here.
Yeah, he did.
Meech actually did.
Yep. I was about to be called a broken clock again. That's it.
Well, it's it's
all
right
over.
Twice a day.
I mean,
yep. It's over. No, but honestly, like we can be honest though, the Kai'Sa could have had probably any build in this game, and it would have won. It had nothing to do with the build. The build didn't actually develop in the game. Like even when he was poking when they had Baron and they were sieging, it could have been any build and the follow-up fight would still be a wipe. So I think it's like. Yes, for clickbait on like YouTube, sure, the title says like Kai'Sa build debut, or like on Twitter, like I meme that it's like picked and stuff, but it could have been any Kai'Sa build, they would have won the game. So like that's just being honest.
So you just talked about clickbait there, and I mean, are you insinuating that you've misled your viewers in some ways?
Propaganda.
No,
propaganda.
Well, I mean, it's clickbaity in that the build is debuting, but if you actually watch the game, the build doesn't do anything, like in the game.
Do you feel like, because I think sometimes you've been described as sort of the Pied Piper of Western League of Legends, blowing the flute and leading the rest of us rats towards an untimely death. It's, when you talk about the clickbait there, that's the kind of impression I get. I don't know what you think about that, Speaker. I don't know if you agree with me there.
She thought the build was doing work, so maybe I should be the ambassador,
Maybe
it should be my build. I thought the build was not bad. And today, the last game, I don't know if LS watched. I thought that build would be crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, that build would be correct for B-Boy.
So good.
Yes. It
would be so
correct.
good.
Correct. But
I don't know what he
B-Boy.
built, but yeah.
So
yeah, he sinned a bit. His builds are always interesting, but that build would go hard.
I've always wondered, because you talked about like there's a lot of like religious imagery in like obviously there's a Church of Chovy, there's a Church of LS. What actually do you have to, in like a truly Catholic sense, like what is your version of like absolution? Like how does someone find forgiveness?
What?
Because like in the church, for example, like you go into the whole like box or whatever, and you like say, "Father, I did this," like, you know.
Oh, you could pay, right? Like back in the day.
Yeah,
like,
no, back in the day.
pay to
Oh,
the
yeah,
church.
yeah, yeah.
Twitch Prime, Twitch Prime.
You Switch Prime is
You just
subscribe.
Twitch Prime, that's it,
Or
actually.
assist
That's it.
That's the absolution. You buy your way into heaven with the Twitch Prime.
So it is actually funny though, because I called Meech's build out on Twitter. So this was last week, right? And he just DM'd me as soon as the game ended. And then this week he did the AP Kai'Sa build.
That's good. You've had a positive impact.
Well, there are some pros like this, and then there's other pros that, you know, they still build Hollow Radiance on Nautilus support and Cassante.
Do you view the pros that don't listen to you sort of like the people that didn't listen to the prophecy that was given to Noah, like they're just going to get washed away with the world? Because you know those that don't follow the church will be punished.
Well, I mean, there's pros that don't even interact or engage with me, but then there's ones that acknowledge, but I don't know how to explain this.
Sorry, when you say acknowledge, you mean the ones who want to be saved?
No, like there's ones that are anti me vocally. Do you know what I mean? Like they're aware of something that I've either talked about or said, or they've seen it or engaged with it, but then they I don't know, it's like really weird. Those pros, yeah, I do view them like intellectually stupid.
Well, you know, back in those times, I mean, in the good old days, when someone was opposing the church, we had methods of dealing with them. Unfortunately, we don't have that now. It's just the mute button on Twitter. But
yeah, right.
It was not
the reason that I'm saying that is because I mean, I think you could even testify to this, right? I'm never not civil with pro players, right? So like, it's really weird when there's animosity coming from a pro player, because I try to point out how they can min max better. Like that is where like it almost feels like they're very flat earther-ish. Like their ideology is like being threatened, but it shouldn't be, because it's nothing personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I do think that they're intellectually stupid, yeah.
Well, that's another tree.
That's
going to be at least five. That's going to be at least 5 trees.
That's like, you know.
That's got to be at least
well,
5
because
trees.
it's not about League of Legends at that point. It's their ability to grapple with critical thought, and if they can't display that, then yeah, what?
You know, I saw on Twitter today. I saw someone. This is the most beautiful way I've ever seen someone be called stupid. They described someone as lacking intellectual bandwidth, which is
that's pretty good.
It's absolutely beautiful, and I will be using that.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna be using that.
You lack intellectual bandwidth.
Bandwidth, nice.
That
Okay.
is wonderful.
That is good.
Yeah.
In any case, one of the other additional questions I wanted to kind of run by you guys is, I know that sometimes when we get into the thralls and we get quite, held up in the structure of the games, there's so many games to watch, there's so many things that go on. Are there any individual performances that either of you have been particularly impressed by from any of the teams? So maybe some new players coming in, maybe some players that have gone underappreciated that you've kind of noticed?
I think Castle's playing really well. He had a really good game today.
I know he's someone that a lot of people have been looking towards. I know there's the one clip, the Aatrox into Yone clip, where he did a lot of animation cancels.
Yeah.
That one was insane. I think Meech has been playing pretty well as well, especially in team fights. I think I haven't seen much from laning phase, but I think in team fights he's always like doing what he's supposed to.
Mm.
That's the only two
I must warn you, LS, if you're not able to say that there is one player that has played well, you
will
be
no. So I'm thinking about this answer, right? Because if you're asking, is anyone in LCS currently having like a berserker level arrival? You know what I mean? Like a new player that's arrived and they're having like a 2022 berserker arrival. No one's doing that right now.
Honest. Yeah.
Right. No one's doing that. So there are players that are performing above expectations and stuff. I do think like Castle is actually performing above expectations. I completely agree with Spica about Meech. Meech was someone I had no idea about, but I remember last year during Worlds co-streams, Crowny and Revan were both talking about him. So that there's like that. So seeing that happen. Yeah, I mean, I guess those two actually are the ones that come to mind. Mask is actually not performing at like. I mean, he's performing well, but he's not performing where I would have hoped that he would perform at. But then again, Immortals does seem like a bit of a train wreck. So you know.
Well, speaking of train wrecks, I mean, every train has a destination eventually, and their destination today was they might have crashed right into C9's hopes of recovering their split. We've got a montage here of what was a pretty embarrassing position to lose in, because I think the meme always is that teams, once they reach that, well, there's two ways to look at it, right? You look at the LCS teams, their split's over, they're already thinking about Cancun, or the inverse is that you see every international NA team, as soon as the pressure is off, just turns into like 2016 or 2014 Samsung White. Right. So what do you think this was a contribution of? Do you think C9 just like a bad draft, bad performances in game? What did this game spell out to you?
Honestly, Berserker was playing very bad this game. I didn't even realize. I was watching this game and I just looked at his soul count and he had like abysmal soul at 20 minutes.
I know that's something that we were talking on the stream with.
Yeah, that was like one of the lowest I've ever seen of any like Senna, which I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, so first off, I mean, C9 is a team that I think also now missing, like Sven's absence, I think is very visible this split, because Sven is very vocal, right? He's a confrontational personality. He's very vocal. He's very cerebral. And what I mean by that is like he wants things to actually have like logic or like thoughts behind it. And if you look at C9's drafting throughout the entirety of the split, as well as how they play the game, it actually does not look like there is unison between anything that they're doing. And then like even the draft today, I think it's just very fucking weird. They already had Ornn into Jace, but then they pick Aatrox for Fudge, even though the Aatrox serves no purpose other than just against the Jace, because Aatrox is bad against the other 4 champions. So there's that. There's putting Berserker, who is like a hands 80 carry player, onto Senna. Berserker's not known for cerebral playing. And Senna, while she is like a hyper carry champion, if like the game goes long enough and she can obviously have a lot of influence, those aren't qualities that you associate with Berserker. And the way that C9's played the last 2 years, it doesn't make sense for him to be on Senna. And even less so for Vulcan to be on fucking Ornn. But also I think that Senna-Ornn is a fake news combo, because Ornn will never get to the point where he bestows teammates because he's being fasted. Or he's being farmed, like the Senna combo. So the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. Their gameplay looks fucking clueless, and then Blabber was doing Blabber things. So, you know, C9, they're lucky that they have money. That's why they can stay on the top of the standings. But as soon as they actually have like 1 or 2 really bad splits and like their image gets tainted, I think that they TSM very quickly.
Wait, what does that mean?
Like fall from grace, like very fast.
Oh.
So yeah, positivity.
A lot of positivity. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I agree. I don't really think there's much to disagree there. A lot of the drafts are just horrible, and I'm just wondering, because I'm just looking at drafts. It's like, how does the player even improve with this? You know, like, because I'm not sure what's the team dynamic. Because a lot of people talk about, should the coach be responsible for draft, or should the player have a say, right? Because a lot of drafts are just antithesis of like what they are as a team, I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, I've talked about this with LS today. I don't know what your take is on this, Speaker. I don't know how into astrology you are, but do you think any of Blabber's over-aggressiveness and the fact that he dies to a lot of these neutral objectives is because he's a Capricorn in any ways?
Yeah, maybe. He could just be born that way. I don't know. I'm Aquarius, so I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Oh, you know all about
Why do
that,
you
then.
know that?
I mean, you just know, right? It's just like,
I'm a
love it, you
Pisces.
just know.
I mean, what are you, LS?
When am I? Am I a Virgo? I think that's what it's called. I think that is the date range that I fall in.
Let's go and have a look at this. 15th of September. You're very close to the do you remember? Not quite though. You're a Virgo. You give very Virgo energy.
I don't know what that means, but okay, yeah.
Do you know what your moon placements are by any chance?
I have no idea.
What is that?
Diana.
Talking about
Diana
my butt cheeks, or like what are we?
No, actually, that's not the place that we were going to with this. That's what I mean. I don't want to, I don't want to bring that energy into the podcast, but you take it to a gay place whenever you can. You're scaring Spica. I could just about handle it. I've got some pull in the bear community. Poor Spica here.
Listen, I'm part of the LGBTQIA community. It's all good.
What letter are you representing today?
Well, I'm just an ally, so like the A, right?
That's asexual, I think, isn't it?
Very good. Very good, Spica. Very good. That was good.
Huh? What about the O?
Are you related to Griffin in any way? Is there a Griffin relationship here?
Wait, it's not ally?
No, it's not ally.
Ally was like, no. Okay. Credit to Spica. That was the thing, at least when I was in high school. It was called LGBTA or something, right? The A stood for Alliance.
I played Horde.
Okay,
I played Horde personally when I played World of Warcraft, so I don't know anything about Alliance. Moving on though swiftly. Jesus, sorry, I've lost my train of thought completely. Fucking hell. I wanted to cover over some quick topics here. I mean, it's been covered on a lot of shows. A lot of people that have watched any shows recently, just due to the time, will have seen people touch on it. But I don't know if anyone here has any particularly strong opinions on the brief LCS venue change that we saw for the International for Valorant, which essentially had the studio use a lot of the Valorant operation, use the studio space, and all the LCS games were played essentially from a broom cupboard that looked like Freak's basement they used in Season 1 Worlds. Did we have any thoughts on this in particular? Any hot takes? Yeah, wonderful, guys. Anyway, moving on to the next topic.
We are gonna be planting some trees if I say something,
Oh, right. What would you?
We're gonna be planting some trees. Yeah.
You seem like an aggressive young man, a speaker. If you were forced to play in what is essentially attempting to mimic a WWE Hell in a Cell kind of atmosphere, would you be tempted in any way to just maybe start something?
I don't know. I'll get embarrassed and just not even go to work. Like for real. I don't know. I didn't really like the setup. I heard you can hear the other players as well. I'm not know if that's
really?
True.
Is that
they have
exclusive?
They have to crank up the white noise.
Oh my!
You can hear the enemy team,
or you can hear some stuff. So they have to crank up the white noise really high, higher than what the LCS was.
Do you think if we're getting really specific, that you're able to say, "Hey, I don't really like white noise. I kind of prefer like blue noise or grey noise"?
I mean, I respect all kind of noises.
I've been listening to Orange. I listen to Orange noise to help me go to sleep.
I don't really mind white noise.
Do you guys not use the helicopter headsets?
We use the... Wait, what is helicopter headset?
Helicopter headsets are like really heavy and they're thick. And it's like really fucking cool. They use them in Korea.
The thing about that, LS, so the problem immediately with the helicopter headset is a lot of these players can't pilot their champions. So you run into a real issue there just immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
So you wouldn't have even wanted to turn up to work, Speaker.
Yeah, I'm at home.
In fairness, Speaker, we saw a lot of your performances in the later half of your career, and it didn't seem like you were turning up for work then. So, in any case, moving on. Next question.
Moving
on swiftly. Next question here. I wanted to touch briefly on the fact that Smolder has been a very prevalent pick here. A lot of people have been saying it's the worst design flaw since the Hindenburg. A lot of people have been saying that they don't massively enjoy the champion being played. A damning statistic that I saw recently is the fact that it reached its 24th pentakill in 500 games, whereas I think for Zeri and Kaiser, they reached the same metric by about the 1500th or the 1600th. What are your thoughts on that? Like, healthy for the game? Are we liking this champion? Or is it demonic little shitbag that you want to punt?
That champ is so fucking disgusting. It's unbelievable. And the fact that Riot even like buffed it when they said that it was at a place that they like, right? I think in the passion they said, yes, Smolder's in a good place, but we're going to buff it anyway. I just think the champion is boring. It's boring to play with. It's boring to play against. It's boring to play as. It's just uninteractive gameplay, I feel, which just leads to like bad game design.
Do you feel like it's underutilized in solo lane at all, or do you think it's true places in AD carry? Because I feel like a lot of the time I see it is being played in AD carry, but I know that you can.
I think top has a lot of potential. I think you get stacks faster top if you get a really, really good matchup. But it probably only serves as a counter pick. Like if you're playing against like tank, like I've seen people play against K'Sante. and you just you finish your stacks at like 16, 17 minutes. But I'm not really sure about mid lane.
Unless, what do we think about the Smolder champion?
Well, so I mean, this is where like obviously I'm going to be in the minority here, sort of like blue players and Magic, right? Like, I think fun or entertainment is like it is obviously subjective, right? But obviously this is a minority. I enjoy like champions like Smolder, right? Because they promise inevitability. They're uninteractive. They're very anti-fun, right? And I think that is fun. So like. Yeah, I'm completely where I'm in the minority there. Yes, he is very, very strong. It does concern me, though, that it seems like NA cannot play him in any role. Like, we saw him in the TL game, but then we also saw so many teams just banning him, even on blue side today, right? So I think NA has not been playing him. I do agree with Spica that he can be multi-flexed. I think Nemesis still plays him a lot in mid, right? Who's probably one of the only, like, streamer mid laners that plays him. And then obviously, yes, top lane, he's known for being able to be played. But yeah, I think that in mid and top, it's flex. Yeah?
Do you attribute that perhaps to, I mean, we know classically a lot of pro players are very slow to warm to some of these new champions, allergic to learning in some ways? Or do you think it's the fact that the champion itself is relatively high fidelity, or the play style is something that doesn't reward?
Yeah, I don't think pro players like the way Smolder is. I know it sounds weird.
I mean, they don't like winning, I think. Because this champion.
Well, that's true too.
So
I mean, we know that because they don't play Ivern. So, you know, I mean, Ivern might actually just be. He might just be the best jungler, by the way, right now. Like, actually. Probably the best jungler in the entire game. No regions playing him. It's really fucking weird. It just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, that's like a really good example of like a champion just being overpowered and no one plays him. And we saw it with Udyr, right? And also Udyr like also even stopped getting played, even though he was still disgustingly broken, because no one could learn how to actually itemize him. You had all the Udyr OTPs that like played him on ladder or were like Udyr connoisseurs for like a year, right? That knew how to build him, etc. And then you had this adoption from pro players in every region playing Udyr, and they would just build him really bad, and they would do nothing in team fights. And then they gradually like shifted away from him, and it's really strange. I mean, I don't know.
I guess another question I wanted to ask, and I'll touch on. I'll ask you first, Speaker. Is one of the things that me and LS were talking about recently on the stream is it just was brought up as a random anecdote. The fact that obviously we're talking about the Shyvana rework, and we're saying, oh, Aurelion Sol has the stacking element, Smolder now has it. I wonder if there's a theme there with dragons being stacking, and with there being a potential of Shyvana maybe having a stacking element to it. Do you think the idea of like infinite stacking for champions is an unhealthy presence in the game?
I think from a solo queue point of view, I don't really like it. I think from game design point of view, I think it's fine for the game. Depends on how it's implemented. For example, I think Smolder stacking is kind of healthy just because you are so weak up until the point you get your stacks, or the power is like vastly different, right? Before 225 and after reaching 225, it's like a whole different champion. So if it's implemented in that way, I don't like it. But if it's implemented in like ASOS, for example, it feels like the power is more gradual as you get more stacks, which I feel like is more healthy.
LS, if you want to chime in on that as well.
No, yeah, I think that these infinite scaling champions, I mean, Riot does design them in a way to where there is really clear breakpoints to where they're weaker, and then they hit a strong point. But then some of them, like Gnosis, for example, once Gnosis has 400 stacks, he's basically the same thing, right? Like 400 stacks, 700 stacks, he's killing you in the same rotation, right? It does not, the damage difference does not matter at that point. He's just, you're dying in the same number of hits, right? To Gnosis. So like it's not a real thing, even though it's infinite stacking and the number keeps going up. He's killing you in the same combo. For a champion like Smolder, I completely agree with Spica that yes, there's a clear break point, and sure he can keep farming, but it's not really that different for him. I guess there are some champions where like Veigar is probably one of the few exceptions where eventually he does like potentially get to the point where his R just kills you. That one's like the only one in the game that I think an argument could be made for. I think even like Aurelion Sol, pretty much the same champion, like forever after like 350, right? Like 350 stacks or something. He's gonna be like the same. So I think it's fine. I think Riot does a good job at balancing, like, it doesn't get too chaotic.
Cool. I guess rounding up sort of the game review section, we've gone into individually a few of the games here. We talked about some of the problems at FlyQuest, we talked about some of the general state of the league. I wanted to ask you guys, because for me, as a kind of someone who exclusively did a lot of his work in EU, obviously born and raised European, that is recently, I've actually really enjoyed watching the NA product this year. I think a lot of the stuff that was changed to the broadcast was really good. There was a lot of discussions, at least what it seemed like to me, with the kind of decline in quality, what people perceive in Europe, and what was a boost in some of quality of what people were saying in NA. Now that we're kind of through the season now, we're now seeing the beginning of a new split in LEC. Do you still think that it's NA clearly out in front, slightly ahead of EU? Because I feel like NA slowed down at a certain point. I was really quite impressed with some of the gameplay I was seeing at the beginning of the split, but it's not as impressive now, from my perspective. I don't know what your take on that is, Spica.
So my take on it is that besides the gameplay, I feel like I haven't really been enjoying LEC as much as before. I think partially might be because there is like 3 splits and there's a final as well, right?
Yeah.
So there's like 4 things that teams are playing for, which diminishes like the splits, right? Like I don't think people really put as much emphasis on like winter split compared to like summer split, right? And they still only has 2 splits, so each split is just mattering more. And I feel like that makes the game there's more stake in the game, as well as I feel like G2 is just clearly the best team in Europe. And it doesn't seem like anyone's gonna overtake them, so that makes it a bit more boring. And that is like my biggest problem with LEC at the time. I do really enjoy the fact that there's like a lot of like national fandoms, and I feel like that makes the league more interesting in NA in a way where it's like there's not really that level of like rivalry or competition in NA. But in the gameplay wise, I think the gameplay has been pretty bad after the break. I'm not really sure why.
I think the only way to introduce the national fandoms in NA is if LS returns to NA and creates an esports org out of Long Island.
Long Island.
Yeah,
Rhode
that's
Island,
really the
you
only way. Rhode Island, that's the one.
Oh.
I knew it was an island. I mean, Rhode Island is pretty long in some ways. I mean, long and
Rhode Island is a peninsula. It's not an island.
Wait, it's not?
So why isn't it called Rhode?
Wait, why is it called Island?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'm gonna search that right now. Hold on.
Do
Its
you
original
think
name
your
actually isn't
status-
Rhode Island, by the way. It's like Providence. Wait, Rhode Island original name. Let me find it. The original name was Aquathec.
I can see why they changed that.
Isle of Rhodes. What the fuck? State of Rhode Island and the Providence Plantations was its official name, but
Do you think
it's not an
that
island.
perhaps the fact that you're from a place that is forged in dishonesty, just due to what it's called, is the reason that you've become such a liar in your life?
yeah, I think that's actually
Not to be a psychologist. Well, they say, you know, we're born where we're from, and we're from where we're born. I mean, we don't disagree with that, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't
And
disagree
what
with
is
that.
Rhode Island? What is Rhode Island known for? In many ways, I think LS should be on that in the top 9 there.
Yeah.
Famous people, it might be on there.
Maybe. Who
Mhm.
knows?
Okay. Root. Oh, wait.
What is he looking up now? What?
Okay,
awful
I
thing
see
have
why
you
it was
found
called.
out now?
I see why it was called Rhode Island. It was because of the Dutch explorer that arrived there.
Oh, was he called Road? Was he?
No. It's actually because he called it Root Island, which apparently in Dutch means red island, which was referred to the red beaches that he saw when he arrived.
That's pretty original from him. Congratulations to him. It's
Yeah, very nice.
starting out.
Okay, so
Getting
to answer, wait, what was your question?
Well, I just wanted to say, I mean, we could probably get, if we could resurrect him and get him to rename an LCS org, it's probably a better name than Shopify Rebellion. So,
True.
sorry, what were you going to say?
I don't know. Where were you going with this? I forgot.
I can't
Wait, what
remember
was
why
the
we
question?
brought up. I can't remember why we brought up Rhode Island.
LEC,
Yeah, we're talking
Oh,
about
LEC
that's
versus
right.
LCS. Yeah. Okay, so, all right. I mean, my thoughts on why. Yeah, so I think LCS is more enjoyable to watch from a viewer standpoint. In terms of like skill level, I don't know. I haven't watched LEC. I only watch like highlights sometimes. I don't watch like full games, so I don't actually know what is the level difference. I did tweet like LCS greater than LEC last week, LOL, because like I just refuse to believe that it could have been worse than LCS's gameplay after the break. The reason that I think the LCS team's levels degraded after the break, from talking to some of the people on various teams, it seems like burnout is just a really big thing, and even before the break, people were already CBA across multiple teams, which is crazy to me, by the way. But I do think that it's associated with like the esports winter regression, where you're doing the same amount of work, if not more, this year and last year, right? But you're continuously getting paid less, which I think only hastens or accelerates burnout.
Joe Biden.
That is actually my theory, by the way. Because imagine you're doing the same exact job for several years, but then the workload increases and you get paid less.
Sorry, Spica, did you just say Joe Biden?
It's Joe Biden's fault.
To the podcast.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting way to put it. I can see it, I guess, but burning out after playing like 10 games is crazy, though. I feel like usually
They
burn out
didn't even
towards the
play
end
10
of
games when they burned out, right? They had played what? They'd
like
played 8, right? 8.
In fairness,
Yeah.
though, I think it's fair that Speaker brings up Joe Biden because he knows a lot about Sleepy Joe after you got that 5-man sleep on Lilia and no one did anything about it. So
Yeah, the Pioneer. Also, they're playing less games this split. It's 18-14.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's
Right?
crazy.
So you think
It's
about it-
actually
oh my
crazy.
God.
Yeah, but I
If you
just think most
yeah.
Western pros are just more lax this year and last year, no? I don't think it's a coincidence.
I mean,
I really
anyone's
do think
lazy
that
up-
it's associated with pay.
you didn't need to bring up this. This is probably one of the worst
Oh
things
my
that's ever happened to
God.
Speaker.
Can I leave?
This is horrible.
What?
Why would you, producer? Why would you? They brought up
There's
his
they bought up
9-man
my
sleep.
Can
Can I just say, calling it the 9-man sleep is fucking hilarious. By the way,
I mean that one is good. That one's good. I mean,
think
if
the
it's because of pay, I think it's really crazy.
yeah, the thing about burnout there is, I mean, the thing is, my general philosophy with this, it comes down to a very simple phrase: CBA, go to CB lol. That's what happens. You know, you want to stay in LCS, you better start working hard, buddy. Create some.
I don't think there's anything wrong with CB LoL, by the way. I don't think that's actually.
CB LoL is great.
I think
Actually,
CB LoL. CB LoL.
I played in
Yeah.
Brazilian event, and like the fans are crazy. Like it's actually really fun to play.
Yes.
In. Like they go
Right.
crazy.
But
Guys.
I also do not think that their top teams are actually that far away from LCS and LEC.
Really? Okay.
That one I don't know
I-
about.
Well, you know, if you want me to get a knife and
you
fork,
don't know
I can
about
start
that?
eating-
Alright,
I can
well-
start eating. I can start eating my
I don't
words
really
if
watch CB LoL. So
You know
I
what,
can't
Spica?
really
You'd
comment
have to
on
make an international event to
Oh.
maybe to maybe
They need
you know.
one. They need one. Oh my God.
Fucking hell, that's brutal. You didn't need to do that.
I'm just getting played here. Yo, that's one tree. That's one tree. We need some more like
That's definitely a
positivity.
tree. That's definitely a tree, for sure.
I've never
He's
seen
very-
LS at an international event.
That's true.
Right?
I fucking
Right?
you know that's true actually. That is true. My last one was the one I casted.
What?
That's it.
Ooh,
Which one was
a
that?
little bit, it's getting a little bit catty in here. Jesus.
Worlds 2020.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't there.
I was
To be fair,
supposed to
LS
announce that I was joining T1 on that broadcast, but then it didn't happen. Yep.
This is actually a question that came in from chat that I actually immediately think is very interesting because you guys are probably both on the opposite spectrums of. Well, actually, saying this, you shit talked Nidalee earlier, Speaker, so maybe you're actually not in complete disagreement on this. What are your general thoughts and philosophies on Nidalee at the moment? So I know it got buffed recently.
I mean, I play a lot of Italy, and it's just I just don't like this champion anymore. I feel like she's in one of the worst states she's been in a while. Even before when LS was an Italy hater, I'm like, okay, you know, I can see his point, but you can make it work. You know, it's a way of playing. You know, if you play that way, you play aggressive early game, you snowball, you can still win. But in season 14, I feel like even if you play that way, it's very hard to win unless enemy just refuses to win, because the games have become much more slower.
Are you
Right?
saying that teams refusing to win is not a viable win condition in North America?
Nope. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a hater because I want this champ to be reworked. I feel like the champ in its current state is just, if people have hands and they can dodge spears, it's just.
What
not
would a
good
rework for Nidalee look like for you? Like in, you know, if you were the godlike architect of League of Legends.
maybe like you farm 100 stacks and you queue just execute them, something like that. You know.
Wait, let me
Like,
actually
you farm
think.
some
How would I
jungle
buff
craft.
Nidalee? Let me think about
You
this.
farm
How
some
would I
jungle-
buff Nidalee?
I mean, I think that the fundamental kit of the champion is all based around hitting a skill shot that's hard to hit, right? It's like
Right.
either you change the whole champion or I'm not sure, honestly. It's like a very outdated design.
Yeah.
I like the stacking part. Honestly, that sounds pretty good.
So, like, I'm not to kind of criticize you for a lack of creativity, but do you think that maybe just adding stacks to everything is not the solution?
I mean, you think about it. You're a jungler, you farm camps, and then you become really strong and you execute them.
Right. I'm not a massive fan of the idea, but I don't want to shit on your dreams. I feel like I'm like a really hard knock fucking art teacher that just has to tell this kid that his design project is just an absolute pile of wank. You know, it's not
I mean,
nice to do this to you, Speaker.
It sounds good to me. I mean, I don't know.
You know,
What is
lots
that?
of things sound nice. What are we watching right now? Is this just his Nidalee? Listen,
That's not me.
producer guy, the fucking speaker guy's played like 3,000 games with the champion. He knows how it works, mate.
Is this guy hovering the ability? I don't know what it does.
Yeah, this isn't Griffin. Like,
In any case, I wanted to move on to this is one of the segments that I've worked on for this podcast, which I'm very happy to introduce. Obviously, we spoke about earlier. I mean, I'm here representing the bear community. Speakers representing the A in LGBT and LS is obviously representing the Twink fandom. But we've got a new segment that I've worked on, and it was born from the fact that LS quite often finds himself critiquing the fashion that is available in the esports world, in the world of jerseys. And immediately I got the vibe of like a Miranda Priestley, Devil Wears Barda, Anna Winter editorial. So welcome to the new segment that is the Devil Wears Jerseys, where a lesson speaker will be evaluating some of the LCS and LEC fashion. We can see some of these jerseys.
So are we ranking it out of like a scale or like good or bad? Like
I want you to tell me, just channel your inner homosexual. What's it giving? Like, what strikes out to you? Talk to me about the colors, the composition, just some stuff here. I mean, we've got the 100 Thieves jersey here. What are we thinking about this? It's kind of a rouge, not a Moulin Rouge, more of a maroon, I think is what I would call it. What are you thinking about this one, LS?
I think the contrast in colors is off-putting. I think the white it stands out too much at the neck.
Garage,
I think the different shades of red is not blending well on the jersey. And I think if I recall, the fabric of this jersey, I just don't think looks aesthetically appealing. Like when you see it in person. Yeah, I don't know. This jersey just looks really weird.
It's a little bit. I mean, it's kind of a leasing counter for me here. It's a little bit too poppy, a little bit too flashy. I think, like you're saying, a lot of the colors don't massively come together for me in terms of the composition. What do you think about this one, Speaker?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Reminds me of like a McDonald's. Color palette.
Yeah.
That's just on top of my head. As well as 100 Thieves was really bad when they reintroduced this jersey. So that gave me like a negative association.
Yeah. Turn this fucking jersey pink and it becomes like a McDonald's breast cancer awareness jersey. Like, this is fucking,
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Not a fan. All right, what else?
We're off to a raring start. You describe their jersey as being akin to a breast cancer McDonald's jersey awareness. That's incredible. It's Cloud9 here.
This?
I mean, they say every Cloud9 has a.
This is their fucking, like, I don't even, honestly, I don't know what C9 are doing. C9 are basically like the Apple iPhones of LCS, where they have like extremely similar jerseys. They do like a fucking chroma on it, and then they resell it for an exorbitant price, and fans eat it up. Their jerseys have been so bland and boring. Like, so many of them that they've released. Now, C9 has also released some really banger jerseys, but the majority of their jerseys are like fucking a 5-minute meeting, like with the graphics designer, and I don't know. I think it's really bad.
This looks like to me, when You know when you have that random idea when you're like 15 or 16, you're like, I'm going to start selling t-shirts, and you go on like one of those websites where you like design your own t-shirt, and they have like loads of these weird functions
but actually, like I don't know if the producer can like pull up C9's jerseys. Like, please pull up 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Like, please pull them all up. Yeah. This is a actual joke. The fact that fans are still buying this or that they're actually marketing this to fans is like deplorable. This is like literally fucking Apple releasing like a near identical fucking phone and then trying to pass it off as brand new.
That is a beautiful jersey.
Oh, the white one is good.
It's just a chroma. Does anyone not notice this?
The white one with the sponsor stuff is cool, but this one is just is that their jersey this year?
I like that one as well. Ish. Maybe I don't.
That one's too much for me. Like the C9 logo.
That one's too much. Yeah, that one's too much. That one's ugly.
I really like the white one.
I think the players hated that one.
That one is cool.
Should we move on to
the 2022 jersey that Puma designed was actually okay. I think.
I'm actually really interested to start seeing when like kit sponsors come in, because obviously that's a massive thing in football.
Yeah, this one is sick actually.
This one's unique. It has the topography. Yeah, it has the topography of whatever region you wanted. So I think they offered like LA and Korea. And it was designed by Puma. Like, this one was okay, but then C9 went back to their fucking. I mean, they. C9 and selling, repackaged things and marketing it for expensive. I mean, they did have C9 Stratus, so it's not beneath them.
I don't think Max Waldo was a repackaged U, but anyway, let's move on to the next jersey.
Okay.
Oh, this is a controversial one.
Oh, this is ugly.
Because you've said some bad things. I don't think it's that bad. I actually
hate it.
I don't hate it either.
Really? It reminds me of a polka dot dress.
You know what I don't like is the really abrasive stitching on the collar and then the sleeves.
Yeah, that one's weird.
It's like a very bumblebee-ish, but I like the pattern on it, and I like the typography of the Dignitas. I think it's quite good. But I think the collar and the sleeves ruin it for me.
I feel like it's better than the other two.
The shade of yellow. Well, this one bothers me mostly because of all the dots. I think it's just not appealing. I'm not a big fan of this pattern.
Someone in chat has just said it looks like the carpet at a casino, and now I can't look at it.
It actually does.
God, I hate when people do that, when they just say something that just ruins it for everyone.
No, Dignitas.
Oh my God. Low-key, the fourth one from the top, that's low-key a good design. I'd like that. Let's get that on an LCS jersey. Something like that. I'd love to see something very surreal.
So they intentionally make it ugly to make you keep playing.
Well, no, the thing is with this as well, it's an element of hypnosis. I think you could get some subliminal messaging, pick Lee Sin in the jersey, maybe.
Yeah.
By some sort of scatological CIA psyop. But kind of rounding statements on the Dignitas jersey. I mean, we've said it looks like a casino carpet now. I don't think there's any way coming back.
No, it looks like an ugly 1950s polka dot dress to me, and I think the shade of yellow. I mean, I've actually had a lot of gripes with Dignitas's jerseys over the years in League. I remember making a tweet once saying that the color it was so poorly designed, and I remember this tweet because one of the players' parents tweeted at me very angrily. So that was a first for me.
You got in trouble with mum and dad?
I got in trouble with one of the players' parents. They tweeted at me that I was too rude. I made a very disparaging remark.
You should have just replied like that one kid from School of Rock, you're tacky and I hate you.
Yeah, that's what it. Yeah.
Can we get the next jersey, please? Oh, hello.
Oh,
we're on home turf now, guys. I must warn you that anything negative said from this point onwards will be impacting your performance metrics and contract renewal. So please be very careful. Let's get some positive things being said about this. Not under duress.
Well, LS is wearing it, right? Is LS wearing it?
Yeah, he is. Can we get a little 12 from you?
Can we get a little live model 360?
Yeah. Can you get a little catwalk? Can you do a catwalk down off camera, please?
Okay, the back.
What? The back? What?
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Oh,
I don't like that. I don't like that they put my name on it.
Well, it's
Sad.
personal.
It's fine.
Why do you
No,
not like
no.
that they put your name on it?
I always like any jersey that I get to be nameless, but it's fine.
So
It's Jover.
what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take for you to come off, walk out of the room, and then like strut in like Naomi Campbell at like a Victoria's Secret
No.
show?
We're
In
not
that
doing
jersey.
that. All right, Spica, you're going
Oh.
first on your take on this jersey.
Okay. I mean, honestly, not biased at all, not sponsored. I really like the front. And I've seen it in person, I think. I don't have one, but I've seen it in person. I think that the front design is
Wait, you
really
don't have a
good.
jersey?
I don't think I got one.
God.
That's funny. I didn't get a
I
red
don't
one
think I got
either.
one. No, but I've
Middle of
I've
March.
seen this
No,
in person. I've seen this in person.
Wait, they have you
and-
in a photo on the website though. Is that Photoshop?
No, it's not Photoshop. That's when I wore it.
That's when you wore it.
You went
I
there,
never
wore
received
one,
it.
but they didn't give you one.
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to take it, but that one told me. And I'm too afraid to ask
Okay.
at this point, so I'm just like, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
But I don't. It feels great actually. It's like it's much better from like a lot of the other jerseys that I've wore, where it's like the material is
Yes.
like really breathable. That
So-
is like a big plus.
Obviously,
Okay,
you're talking about. You're talking about.
Yeah, go.
Okay, good. No, just a silly joke, really. I mean, you're talking about the feelings of rejection of not receiving a jersey. We don't really care about that. How did the fabric feel?
It feels really, really nice actually. I think the previous year one, there's one that is like very like thick and heavy, and it feels kind of rough to wear. But this one is like really breathable and it's like thin, which is what I like.
Nice. Sorry, what were you going to say, Alex?
No. So I think the shade of the green, or the, it's like Viridian blue. I think the shade is very nice. I talked about this on the stream though. So in terms of material, because I actually have a bunch of jerseys that teams have sent me over the years, right? Like dating back to like 2015. I was gonna make a video comparing all of them because TSM's Worlds 2020 jersey I think was the best material that I've ever seen on a jersey. Like the cut, the texture, the fabric, sustainability, like through multiple washes or whatever, or if you dry clean, whatever. I think it was really good. FlyQuest jersey, it is the best material that I've ever seen since the TSM jersey, so it now takes the throne. It's like hard to describe if you're like wearing it. So it's very breathable, very, very light, feels very nice. It's durable on top of that, so that's nice. I do like the Viridian blue color. I'm not a fan of the pop-up collar because I think that the black is not complementary to the Viridian. I think that it does make it kind of like the McDonald's thing that we talked about like early on. It's not as bad as the 100 Thieves jersey, but in the red FlyQuest jersey, that lack of color combo isn't as present. Right, because the white with the red collar blends with the font and the symbol,
Can I
right?
just
So
say,
like the red jersey. Yeah.
I've seen a black version of this and it actually looks insane. I don't know if you've
Wait,
seen
there's
it,
a
Alex,
black
but
version?
There's they showed me a black version, like a picture. I think maybe like a prototype. It looks insane. It looks like 10 out of 10.
Like why
You
are
have
we
to see
using
it.
the Oh, because FlyQuest colors are green.
am I
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to- that's
in like
something like that?
in like a sea, like red is difficult to get down.
No,
as a colour.
this is the best jersey. This is absolutely the best jersey. This jersey, the red one is a 5 out of 5 for me. The Viridian blue one, because of the collar and the what the hell is this? The arm.
Is that blue?
Viridian blue, yeah.
Oh,
Why? What?
Yeah, I'm a
Anyways.
massive fan.
No, I've never heard of that
The red is so cool.
No, it's fine. I'm gay. So it's Viridian blue. Anyways,
Nice.
I'm like that's like
like, it's fine. It's fine.
I only know
But
green
yeah,
and blue.
Because of the what the fuck? What is the name of this, Jake? This part of the T-shirt. What is this called?
The sleeve.
It's not cufflinks. That would be a long shirt. What is a T-shirt called?
Immediately I wanted to say lapel, but that's on the chest. I know exactly what you mean, but I can't remember the name for it. Someone in chat will know.
Fuck. Yeah. Anyways, so because of the neck and the thing here on the arms, I think this is. I really do think it ruins the jersey. It's still a very, very good jersey, and the texture and everything is really nice. But yeah,
yeah, I
But
think
that's
this is
not
best
a problem on the red
the red
version.
the red is definitely.
And
best
from what
in shirt.
Speak is saying, the black version would also not have this problem because the white and the black collars would be complementary to it.
Oh, that's just a cheeky
Wow,
advertisement. That's actually available right now.
$78?
Now Speaker's gonna say it's too much. No.
That's crazy.
What's wrong with $78, man? It's
It's really cheap and affordable.
No. So
Pay
this is
with
actually really
100%
funny. This is
respect.
really
Yeah.
funny. I can tell this story now. There's no fucking way this is like a problem. So FlyQuest, this is the most, or not FlyQuest, C9 most Kamaz shit I've ever seen in my world, like in my life. So FlyQuest, the team and the players get their products came from, I want to say it was like Vietnam, right? Like it was manufactured in like Vietnam or something like that, right? And it actually says it like from Puma, and then or like Bangladesh, something like this. And then the products that they sell to the public are manufactured just somewhere else, totally different fabric, totally different material than what is actually being displayed, both on their website and on their players. And I really hope that that's not going on here at FlyQuest, but like, I've never seen something like that. Totally fucking skamaz.
You know, they got you on this show to like theory craft about like League of Legends and like what champions you should pick, and now you're theory crafting about the manufacturing line of where the jerseys are made.
No,
like
C9 literally has different manufacturers for their team and what the public gets. And the team stuff is way higher quality. And what the public gets, you wash that shit like 2-3 times, it's fucked. And also it just feels way worse. Like the fabric.
Moving swiftly on to the next jersey. What have we got next?
Okay.
Before we get into the kind of ethical consumption of jersey.
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Oh,
well,
wait, no, there's another
that's
one.
another one.
This one's so ugly.
I don't even want to
The IMT logo on the side is
this
not
segment.
doing it.
This segment is dragging somewhat. Can we just circle through this quickly? Let's go to the next one.
Wait, what is that? Okay.
What do we think about this one? This is a.
Is that you, LS?
That's you, no?
No,
That's
this
you,
is
right?
actually me. It's Photoshop.
That's you at the streets of Brooklyn?
No, that's you and the T1
That looks like
Gilet.
you.
That's the SK2
The Nike
Gilet.
tech?
The Gilet.
I have no idea what this is. Yep.
That's you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you to me.
You apparently in this photo, what you're saying is, if I get a direct quote from you, is you're saying it's haram to us to pick Nort, but ain't haram for them to get Draven. We'll take Lux or Vega. Do you remember saying that?
No, I don't know.
You also apparently said all this R5 talk is draining. Got LCK acting friendly, trying to get me to sign these papers. Man said 29 with a mil. I need the same deal as Aegis. What the fuck does he mean about pick me Zach? Already locked in Vega. Why did you say all of that?
Fire.
Yeah, I think we just move on to the next image. That's what I think. Yeah. Okay.
This NRG jersey. This looks like
the crocodile
horrible.
pattern at the bottom is just really off-putting. I think if that wasn't there, the jersey would actually be really good looking.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like what every dad that frequents wife beaters and tap out and like watches UFC would wear, or perhaps like the merch for like an early Bionicle movie. That's what it's giving for me. I don't know how you guys feel.
When I see this pattern, if I don't think of crocodile, I think of like cellulite. So I'm thinking of like literally skin problem because of that pattern.
The NRG jersey brought to you by Cellulite. That is a crazy thing.
Dude, it looks like the desert crack, you know?
Yeah, that works too. Yeah. The crack drop.
The desert crack is quite different to the crack that's available for some of the drafts in the LCS. So. Anyway, next jersey, please. Oh, not a massive fan of this one either.
This looks like a bad Halloween costume.
The Rebellion is just not there for me.
Yeah. The font on Rebellion is just way too off-putting, and then the sides look like you wanted to be Cell from Dragon Ball for Halloween, and this is all that your parents could afford. Like, I don't know.
It's a rebellion against fashion, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is pretty not good.
I wonder what the choice of the kind of like weird kind of synaptic spiders.
Oh, I just
like
realized it's like the umbrella logo from Resident Evil.
Oh.
You see it, right?
Well, you know, I know
I can
On the
see a little
arms.
bit.
The umbrella logo. Pull it up from Resident Evil. It's literally the umbrella logo. Is it not?
Does Shopify Rebellion have any
Yeah.
imports? Oh, they've got Boogie and B-Boy, right? I don't think their residents are evil.
Oh, I mean, their gameplay is pretty fucking Resident Evil. I'll tell you that much.
Resident Sleeper, maybe. What is producer looking? What is a dad joke? Well, there's just no need for that.
I just saw a white baby meme, and
White baby names, yeah.
Why is our producer got Billy Mays in his search history? Isn't that the guy that does the like infomercials?
wait, who's Billy May?
It's like, hey, Billy Mays here with a new cleaning product. Why is our producer searching that?
Oh, I've seen him before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get is this the final jersey, or can we move to the next segment? Let's just move to the next segment anyway. Oh, TL Honda. I actually don't mind this one. I think this one's a little bit better than some.
Oh, this one's not bad.
This one's pretty good. I think this one's really good. I don't really
Honda's
have
not
like. I mean,
too big.
aesthetically, for donning a animal on the jersey, I think that they actually make this one work really well. I would probably actually prefer for those lines to not be there and just it to be blank with the horse outline. I think that'd probably be better. But maybe they felt it looked too plain that way. But I think that they could have done something with the horse's eye if that was the case. They could have made like the horse's eye.
I'd love for them to like lean into the whole idea of the horse in like a more like creative way. I think there's just so many directions in which you can take it. Like you've got the whole thing about like the Pegasus. It's like I think like horses are such a majestic piece. Like chess as well, obviously, as an angle you can take it there.
Yeah.
I think the best example of them using the horse is that like you know in the Breaking Point documentary when they've got the whole intro set to like the horse that's like drowning on the water. I mean, I just always think of that as like the gold standard of like what is paid by Steve? Completely broken my train of thought there. I was having a beautiful moment. But yeah, I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them use the insignia of the horse a little bit more, and maybe like a more creative way. Do you feel like we're stuck in a zone whereby like a lot of these LCS jerseys just always just going to be like brand name, partners, and then like team name? I'd like to see like more like because like in traditional fashion, obviously, when you look at a lot of these different things, like when you go and look at like an Alexander McQueen, for example, like even some of the sports jerseys. Like I think about like the Arsenal bruised banana away kit, for example. If anyone wants to look that up on Google, I think it's kind of ugly now, but like at the time was really innovative. And I think a lot of like football jerseys can still be like really creative. But they're like based on like referential stuff, and it like goes into like history, or it's meant to represent a thing. What do you think is like the main barrier? Because it feels like we're kind of scared to get creative in regards to some of these jerseys.
I'm not sure what the reason is for jerseys being as lackluster as they are in esports. Sometimes, though, you do have teams like try something on a jersey and they totally fucking fail. Like the Gen G Worlds jersey that ended up happening. That was a fucking train wreck. That actually might be the worst professional jersey of all time. Which is impressive because we saw the Dig one from earlier. But I think... I don't know. I don't know why teams don't care about their jerseys. It might be because they don't sell. I'm actually not sure like what the market is on jerseys. Sometimes teams actually do sell out of jerseys. Sometimes. But I think that those are only top teams.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in some ways, no? Because I feel like if the jersey isn't particularly appealing, you're already creating a product that won't necessarily sell. So why do it in the first place?
Yeah.
What's that? I don't think people are going to buy jerseys for teams they don't like anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, I think this rounds out this area of the segment. We've got another segment here where, I mean, I've warned you about this speaker. I don't know if LS is entirely aware. This segment is called What Did He Mean By That? And it's basically where using my sort of encyclopedic like knowledge and scouring the internet. Also shout out to producer Tuvshno, who found
I'm not in the first clip, right?
Well, I don't know which clip will be first, but it's basically the segment is called What Did He Mean By That? Where we drag out some questionable things that you guys have said in recent months or years, and we ask you to explain it on the podcast for everyone. So I don't know what we've got up first here.
Oh my god. I was playing Roblox with my brother, having some family bonding time.
I don't think we can hear what the clip was going on in the clip.
Yeah, I
presume
can't
the
hear,
stream
by the
can't.
way. So I don't know. Maybe this section's gonna be hard.
I think maybe the producer's fixing it.
Okay. Maybe not. Maybe what did you mean by maybe
Maybe
the producer's fixing it? How about you tell
Well,
us
what
that
did I
first?
mean by that? That's the real question. Yeah, if you're flipping it back on my head. I mean, I don't know. I just presumed that it would work, and that's
Mm-hmm.
can't always assume these things, I suppose. Do you want me to explain what happens in that clip, and we can get a
Yeah,
speaker
yeah.
to explain what he meant by that?
I don't
It's a
remember
clip.
what I said.
It's a clip from 3 years ago where your younger
Wait,
brother
hold on,
basically
hold on.
exposes.
How about do we cover live stuff that's happening right now? Can we
Sure,
do that?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, go
the
on.
double lift and Dodo thing.
Oh, I was
Dodo
there.
just responded.
Oh, what is it? Fill me in. I don't know what's the dealio.
So hold on. I'll copy paste the reply in Discord.
Wait, is there big drama?
Yep. Dodo just replied to Double Lift. So Double Lift ended up talking about how Dodo fucked the offseason by making a roster full of his friends and canceling like other things that would have ended up happening. I guess Double Lift talked about that today on his co-stream. Yeah. So there's a lot of drama on Reddit about it. Where, yeah, Dodo blocking TL from signing Jojo Pyun and himself for 2024 offseason. Let me see what Dodo's reply is. Is this pulled up? Okay, it's pulled up. Hey, I usually don't like sharing private information about offseason, but just wanted to make sure wrong information isn't spreading
Just
from Double
just
Lift.
to clarify for the viewers, just quickly, Dodo is, I presume, GM for TL, or
He is the GM of TL, yeah. Conversation with Jodo since September during the offseason had more than 6 to 7 convos with him. There were a lot of different roster iterations with different players. Jojo ultimately decided chose C9 because he wanted to play with Berserker, and that was his top priority. Double Lift wanted to play with Jojo only and just did not work out in the end. I also had chats with Double Lift a few times in the offseason seasons as well, but things just didn't work out in the end. Just as one of the Double Lift decided to share wrong information saying that I changed stories to Steve and block stuff. Steve and I work together all offseason, and we are very transparent with each other through the process. I know today's loss is disappointing, and we are too. We could have had the chance to lock top 4 going into playoffs, but we just simply played bad today, whatever, etc., yada, yada, yada. Okay, Double Lift.
Look at the double lift response. Yeah, that one's relevant.
Ooh.
That one kind of headshots the statement.
Wow.
Okay, Double Lift did a reply?
Well, he's put up an apology by the Dodo guy.
When
he
he
put up an apology.
Well, the Dodo guy apologized in DMs.
like 4 months ago. 4 months ago for like what happened off season.
Oh, on Twitter.
No, did he post on Twitter?
No. This is a Discord
He
message.
posted on his stream, I think.
Look in Discord.
It's in Discord. It's in Discord.
Producer can put it up.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to zoom in on that. Dodo says, "Hey Peter, I heard." Oh, so this is Discord. Hey Peter, I heard from Steve that you heard my conversation with Jojo Pyun regarding you in the past few days. I want to apologize to you. Those conversations were definitely not professional. I feel very bad about talking like that behind your back. It was the gist of the moment where Jojo reached out to me worried that we were going for you of Berserker, and I acted in a way to convince Jojo at that moment. But still, I shouldn't have said something like that, and I'm really sorry. I still very much respect you as a player and as a friend. Sorry. Okay.
Holy shit.
Interesting. So that's the drama. So there's a couple of things. So Golden Guardians were going to unload a lot of money in the offseason to try to make a super team. And there was also a point where Berserker was actually off C9 temporarily. And they were going to end up picking up Meech and Zazel. Or like something like this. Then there was something where Double Lift and Busio were actually going to go to Team Liquid. At one point, and then Double Lift and Busio were maybe going to go somewhere else. And I know this because I was talking with Busio because FlyQuest was trying to acquire me for 2 months, right? And Busio was in a lot of talks with me because Busio wanted me to join FlyQuest too. So I was also aware that this Busio Double Lift like thing was a real thing because when I decided to not join FlyQuest, Busio was then like I think thinking about not joining FlyQuest. I think like this timeline works out like this. But then, you know, I was potentially going to be a part of FlyQuest in like a different thing. So all of this stuff is going on. So Well, I don't specifically know about like this Jojo Pion double lift thing. I have heard the Team Liquid thing from multiple people, and I also do know about like the theorized Korean C9 roster that was like, what was it? It was like Berserker. I think Berserker wanted like Jojo Pion and like a heavy Korean roster. I think was like something that almost ended up happening. But the TL thing and like having players get blocked and other stuff, Doublelift isn't the first person to say something like this. I think, yeah, there's another LCS player that would actually be able to probably, speak. Although obviously I don't think that they would, because Doublelift doesn't have any restraint anymore. He's not tied to any LCS org, right?
I don't think he had much restraint when he was, though, to be fair. So.
No, but like, what I'm basically trying to say is that like I can corroborate that like there were roster moves that involve stuff like this, and I've heard it from other people. Because
you can follow the crumbs all the way to the cabin.
Right. Yeah.
Spica, keeping it light. Watching any good films recently?
Films? I want to watch Dune 2.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
People say it's crazy. I'm gonna watch it when I get the free time. But that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
If the LCS was like the world of Dune, who are the Fremen?
I mean, I didn't watch it yet.
You didn't watch the first one?
Dude, the first one was so long, man. I forgot. My attention span is like 3 minutes.
So you want to watch the second one, and you've not watched?
Well, I remember what happened. It's like this, like Timothée Chalamet went to this desert, right? And then his family got shanked. That's all I remember.
I don't know how to say this to you in a way that's not, this is obviously the first time we've spoken. That's like really upset me in like quite a deep part of my soul.
Wait, am I wrong?
No, that is like in the same way that if I was to say that Star Wars is a film about a man who has an argument with his dad, that wouldn't be that inaccurate.
He didn't know he was his dad.
Right. Anyway,
So that's kind of a spoiler for anyone who haven't watched Star Wars.
We'll set a rule for the podcast now that I'm never going to ask you about films ever again.
That's probably a good idea for me and you.
I already have a problem with LS doing this. Never again with you. Yeah, sometimes. He watches Twilight, mate. That's what he's been doing recently.
I've never watched Twilight.
Yeah, rightly so.
That sounds like something LS will watch, actually.
What does that mean?
Don't ask me what I mean about that.
What do you mean by that, bro?
What do you mean by that? Yeah. What do you mean by that?
That section is over. That section is over.
I think the section just began.
No. The section is over. Wait, Twilight's the one with the vampires and shit?
No, it's just
That's the one with the vampires?
Why would I watch that?
Yeah,
I don't know, like LS is like because LS is like a
vampire.
Night Dweller, right?
Oh, okay. We're going in that direction.
I always see LS at night, so it's like he kind of relates to
he's
vampires.
A vampiric homebody. He doesn't leave his house. He's a loser, is what you're saying.
Nice save.
Well, I don't know about the loser part, but is that a Twilight thing?
I think we're approaching your Twilight on this show, mate. This is, we're really we're really heading into the Twilight Zone in many ways. It's getting a little bit freaky over here. Like,
all right, moving on.
Very nice.
Moving on.
Very nice. Very nice.
Our final segment on the show is I was coming up with a segment here, and I wanted to get into kind of, for me, what LS represents is you're like one of these kind of shamanic aunties in the way that you can look into your crystal ball and predict the future. And I think that's a thing that people don't appreciate about you enough. And I don't know, I wanted to kind of join Spica, if you wanted to join in this kind of weird esoteric journey that we're going to be embarking on. I think a lot of shows do the prediction game, and it's quite boring. They'll say, oh, I think this team's going to win next week. But I wanted us to kind of expand our vision outwards, much like, some of the LCK supporters buying 2 pinks, and just really get creative in terms of regards to what predictions we might have. And I actually wanted to offer LS the chance to put a curse on an individual or a team in the LCS region to kind of... We've alluded to it earlier. I think with his position as a kind of religious figure, much like Moses, with the 7 plagues and whatnot, I think with his anger at seeing Hollow Radiance on Nautilus, Lee Sin being picked randomly, I think it's a fine and ripe opportunity for him to kind of level a curse on the NA region. Is that something
What
that
are
you're
you asking me
willing
to
to
do?
What is something like, you know how the 7 plagues happened? They said if you don't do this thing, then like locusts are going to arrive. There's going to be a flood. There'll be famine and starvation. What's like the one thing that you don't want to see happen in NA in the next few weeks in the playoff region?
If I see Volibear, I'm gonna go crazy, bro.
Volibear. We're putting a curse on
That
Volibear.
champ- that
All right,
champ
there you
is
go.
so
There you go.
useless.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of things I don't want to see. You know, like, I think I don't want to see. You get what I'm saying? You like.
So like much like, I mean, I don't know if anyone's read Dune. Much like Paul Atreides, you want to march into the desert blind.
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah, I wish I could close my eyes.
But the thing is that it strengthens the senses. We're putting Volibear into the crystal ball there.
Wait, Volibear's jacked.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, he's
very
jacked
jacked.
actually.
He's a Volibear.
Very
So
nice.
yeah, I guess in regards to the predictions, like the point of this segment is to kind of talk about maybe predictions that we have that are like not necessarily tied to who we think is going to win the next couple games, but like maybe some like wider things, teams that you might think are going to crash and burn, teams that you think will overperform going into playoffs, champions you think we're going to be seeing more of, champions you really don't want to see. Just things that you think might come true, might not come true, because in that way we can track it in future episodes to see who's right, who's wrong.
I really don't know. And it's mostly, I'll be honest, it is mostly because I'm so CBA about like just the region. Like I'm so apathetic, right? Like nothing that. Yeah, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say it. Like it's not that I don't want to say. There's so much I don't want to see. You know, like.
Well, what do you want to see then?
Oh,
Well,
wise
I
one.
mean, yeah, I mean, I do want to see like Ivern, and I want to see like Kaisa and like these other types of champions, right? I want to see like Fiddlesticks, and I want to see more Smolder, even though a lot of people probably don't. Yeah, stuff like that, you know.
That's fair enough. What about you, Speaker?
Like what I want to see?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see teams actually draft well. Like some of these drafts are crazy.
That's fair enough. I don't think that's too much to wish for. Well, in any case, that's going to be our predictions done for the segment. I think that pretty much rounds us out.
I am all right. I am getting. I am being told. Okay, sources.
Yeah. Sources. Not ketchup,
sources.
not mayonnaise.
Sources.
See, I don't know how I do this, but also I don't want to get like. All right, I'm just gonna say. I mean, well, yeah, better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Someone from within TL has confirmed Double Lift's information.
Holy shit!
That is the
Steve said
that
that.
is the sources.
That's crazy.
That's the sheep esports sources.
Oh, you've just given away the source. Why have we just gone to a picture of Double Lift?
No, I didn't say who it was. I just said that someone else that is not Dodo from within TL has confirmed what Double Lift's saying.
Okay, fair enough. God, what's the weather like in Korea? You call you Edward the way you're snowed in at the moment, fucking leaking everything. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to get into the implications of that, or is that a bit too hot heavy for what we're talking about? I mean, LCS games are going on. We did some predictions. I think we're coming towards the end of the show anyway. Feel free to speak, guys.
Sorry, I'm looking at the drama.
Yeah, absolutely. God,
No, it's fine.
I feel like I'm doing a show with like iPad kids. You guys just like glued to your timelines right now.
No, it's fine.
Reading
It's fine.
Discord messages.
There's some big stuff
Well,
happening.
I'm getting live updates here. I'm getting live updates. Think about it. We're breaking news right now. We're like Nightcrawler.
Breaking news. It's huge.
Speaker. He's getting live updates. We've got to talk here. We've got to like wait for him to bring the information to us.
I'll do two people's job.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think you're capable of it. I mean, you've showed a lot of competence throughout this interview, especially when you said that June was about a man in the desert.
Am I really wrong though? Is it not? Like his family got shanked, and he I actually don't remember what happened. He walked in the desert for a bit.
That's going to be a new segment on the podcast where we get you to like do summaries of movies.
Okay, tell me if I'm crazy, okay? On the
Okay.
topic of this.
Yeah, let's hear
When
it.
I watch shows, I only read the dialogues and skip. Like, it's like when there's like nothing happening, there's no dialogue, it's kind of boring. So like I go to the next dialogue. Am I crazy or am I like?
What
Is
the
that something
fuck
Wait,
is
so
it?
wait. So you need
what the
subtitles
fuck is
and you
wrong with you?
skip
Yeah,
if it's boring?
I read subtitles, and then like if there's nothing crazy happening, I'm
What's
like
the polite way of saying this to you? I think you should be banned from all media consumption. I don't think you should have the ability.
okay, but like
to-
it's more efficient, right? If you think about it, I'm consuming the information in my
No, but
head, understanding everything.
No, I need to say this to you. Like,
You know
Right.
what?
as a
Actually,
person,
Spica, instead of
you
watching
should-
movies, just go to Wikipedia and go to the plot and
Well, I
read
do
it.
sometimes. I go to plot and be like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't catch that when I was watching.
I genuinely think that you should be like reserved to just like only eating instant ramen and like just nothing else. Like senses just deprived. No
Okay,
TV
what is
show.
your
Like, you should
favorite
be-
film? If you're judging me, what is your favorite film of all time?
Probably Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky. That's for me. Great film. You will have never heard of it.
I have
'cause
never heard of that.
You
I
probably
have
think
never-
that
Stalker-
Marvel movies are like a
Stalker-
revolutionary.
Is that from like the 1990s or?
It's, I think it's a little bit earlier than that, but I'm a little bit bourgeois with films. I'm a
I see.
elitist.
Okay, we're using big words, huh?
Yeah, I think genuinely with what you've just told me there, like it would be. I think the only adept and like suitable punishment is for you to be robbed of any ability to consume any media ever.
Well, I'll be watching Dune 2, and I can live update you on my thoughts if you really want my professional opinion.
Okay.
You don't have a fucking professional opinion. You've got an amateur opinion.
Well, if I'm going to the movie theater, I have to sit there and watch the whole thing, right? So.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you go in the back by the fucking projector and ask them, "Hey, can you speed this up, mate? It's dragging a little bit."
Fair. I mean, I'll be watching.
Oh, that is just oh god.
I should have.
I
It's
could
ruined.
strangle you right now. It's just
ruined.
absolutely.
That's why I don't like this. This is why I don't like sharing personal stuff. Like it's just like
That's nothing
there's
personal.
no
about that.
empathy.
That is
There's
the
no like.
utter
There's no empathy.
absence.
There's nothing there, man.
No, there's an utter absence of personal.
Like,
it's impersonal. There's nothing personal about.
Like
the
I
way
don't
in which
blame you for the
consume-
way you play League of Legends. Like.
Well, because it's not my job. I don't get
Yeah,
paid.
it's not
to
my
do it.
job for like a movie reviewer. I'm just there
Oh,
to
it's
consume
just-
the media.
Oh God, no! You're just I've genuinely. I feel like movie reference for you. I feel like a character from Requiem for a Dream right now. I've got the shakes all over. Physical reverberation and itches are going through my body listening to the way that you watch movies.
Wait, is that the one with like?
Yeah, let's not get into what that film's about. That's not podcast appropriate. Could you
Oh, I've
watch?
never
Can
watched
you watch movies at the theater in 2x speed? This is genuinely a question that you would ask. If this was an option, you would do it.
No, I mean I enjoy movie when I go to the theater.
Anyway,
It's
have
expensive.
we got any updates, LS, before I kill one of our guests?
No.
Kill our co-host. No updates? Well, in any
We're
case,
good.
we'll have to update you that we have reached the hour mark. Normally that's only around about how much this show will last. This will be a weekly show that rounds up. It's a little bit scuffed today because it's the first time we're doing it. We're testing some segments. We're workshopping some stuff. Obviously, it's the first time me and Speaker have ever spoken. Hopefully, the last after what we've just spoken about. But in any case, it's been lovely speaking to you, gentlemen. We've covered a few things. Some stuff will work next week. I'll work out how to, be a little bit better of a host and not use words that are 400 letters long and not ask questions in the last 5 minutes. But in any case, it's been good talking about LCS. We've loved speaking to all of you, and we hope that you join us next time. And keep the banter up, keep some good times, and have this as a show that is a good little roundup for the LCS. Any closing statements, Mr. Nicholas?
No, nothing. No closing statements. Where's my red jersey? Where's Spica's jersey? Where's the black prototype?
Where's my
crew?
jersey?
Yeah,
Apparently, I'm not supposed to say that, but
I'd like a
you're
FlyQuest
not?
do-rag, please.
it's okay. It looked really sick though.
the black prototype. I want the prototype
Yeah.
now. I
Guys,
want that. I want
sick.
that sent to me.
It
That
looks
has to be
sick.
laying around
Guys,
somewhere. Send me
Is
the
there-
prototype.
I don't know if there's a lack of social skills going on in the room right now, but I've very much alluded to the wrapping up of the show. I'd like to go. I've not eaten, so if we could just follow
You
my
don't need
cue,
to eat.
Produce.
you've
that's very
you've
funny.
eaten
I
enough
said-
for the next 2 years.
Oh, fat phobic are we? That's great. Yeah, nice. What else? What other phobias do you have?
think we're doing you a
Agoraphobia,
favor.
fear of
Hold
going
on.
outside.
Let
Are
me
you
keep
afraid of
talking.
going outside as
actually.
well as being
Let me
fat?
keep talking.
What else? What else are you afraid of? C9 phobia. Is that one as well? Anyway, wrapping up the show now. Producer, can you please let me go? Cut the show. Come on, wheel it off now, please. Let's go.
Oh Jesus. All right. Take it away.
Hey,
Just like
Take it
his-
away now. Fuck you.